Mr. Thrive and Survive thinks he is an expert on GPS. This video is a reaction to his video he calls, "I am an idiot when it comes to satellites." The name was probably thought ironic. But it is 100% correct, he is a big idiot. WheresWallys made me aware of this video when he used it in one of his videos. But he focused more on airplanes. I intend to stick to ships, an area I master. I linked to Wally's video in the description. Let's look at Mr. Thrive and Survive's video and what lies he wants to share.
And boy, did my last video strike some sort of nerve on the other side, which is a good thing. You know, whenever you get to the truth, it always strikes a nerve.
So now we will learn about satellites from you. Let's see and hear what you have to come up with.
A couple of things keep coming up in the comments, though, that I want to blow out of the water, so to speak. The two arguments are, one, that GPS is used with ships all over the world. And what they think happens is that a ship will receive signals from satellites, and that gives them their GPS location.
And they are absolutely right.
Well, this is something I've known since I was in the Navy in 1980. That isn't how it works.
Idiot. That's just how it works.
How it works is the ship itself sends a signal out, narrowband radio signal, and it gets a bounce back from 3 different land stations or more, and that's how your GPS, quote unquote, is updated.
You are not talking about satellites, but about LoRaN, short for long-range navigation. LoRaN used 2 frequency bands, at 1.85 and 1.95 MHz. And did have a range up to 1,500 miles, 2,400 kilometers. It was active until 1985. LoRaN's limited range I will return to later in the video.
Now, how can I prove this? Because if the ship is just out there receiving GPS, you know, it's got this satellite antenna or whatever, trying to capture satellites to know its GPS. No, it sends it out.
The image you are viewing is from the Marine Traffic website. On this page, AIS data from ships worldwide are presented. An AIS captures data from multiple satellites using GPS to determine its position, then it transmits information so other vessels can see position, speed course, and much more. I will return to how AIS works.
The ship itself doesn't use a satellite receiver. It sends out a narrow beam radio wave, and like I said, it rotates around at 360 degree, and the first 3 to come back, it takes at least 3 to give you a GPS location. And this is how it was done in 1980 when I was in the Navy, and that is how it's done today. And I was actually shocked when I first looked at the GPS that we used on the ship, because we did navigation in the weather office. We had to know where we were and where we were going to. I learned very quickly that we actually were the ones sending out a signal.
The Navy really has to be proud of you. You obviously don't remember any of what they taught you. If they now taught you to determine the position of a ship, then they must also have learned how to use these tools. Because if you were really on a ship, you had to use this type of instrument when you came outside of LoRaN's range. So, could you possibly explain how a sextant works on a flat Earth?
And that's how it was taught to me. And how can you prove this? Well, this is called Marine Traffic, marinetraffic.com. And look at this. There's all these boats and ships all over the place, and they're being tracked. And guess what? Oh, that was just a fishing boat. Position received by satellite. Yeah, right. Here we go. Passenger vessel. How does it know what they are, huh? It's going to get better. Wait till I get to a good one here. Oh, there was a good one. If I can get on it. You see, a lot of these things, it'll tell you there's the name. It'll give you the name of the ship. It'll even tell you a lot of times where it's going. How does the GPS, satellite, how does the satellite know what the ship is?
You're an ignorant idiot. The satellites do not know the name of the ship or where it is heading. It is the ship that transmits that information.
Here, this is the CFS Palamedes. Destination Alexandria. And here it is off the coast of Central America. That's one thing. People think they know everything, and they're calling me idiot for not knowing how this works.
And they are absolutely right.
I've lived this, guys, for 3 straight years.
I got my basic military education in 1985. Today I have the degree of captain and work part-time as a military. I am the commander of both military and civilian vessels. I have certificates in navigation, radar, VHF, and other radio systems, GPS, AIS. Unlike you, I know how this works. You say you did methodological studies on the military ships many years ago. I doubt it is true. Or then the Navy has big problems with its training. This is a common AIS. It receives satellite information to determine the vessel's position and transmits its information via VHF radio on 2 channels. Information about the ship is entered in the ship's AIS: type of ship, IMO number, ship name, nationality, length, width. You also enter where you are going. The system then automatically adds information to what is sent, among other things, speed and course. Here is a simple sketch of how AIS works. The vessels receive information from the satellites to know their position. They then send out data via VHF that received by other vessels and base stations ashore. Since VHF has a limited range due to the curvature of the Earth, the vessels lose contact with base stations ashore quite quickly. That is why when you look at marine traffic you get less information for vessels that are further out to sea. Their data has been received with the help of satellite, and the marine traffic is charged for presenting complete data for them. Note that it is not GPS satellites that receive this data. A GPS satellite receives no data from a ship or aircraft. They have no control over who receives data from them. Your total ignorance of navigation is not evidence of anything but that you are an ignorant idiot. Ships are good evidence that the Earth is not flat. Look at where radar and radio antennas are located. At the highest point of the ship. This is to get the radar and radio horizons further away. Yes, radar and radio also have a horizon, depending on the curvature of the Earth. If you have served on a ship, then you would know about these horizons. Or maybe you peeled potatoes and scrubbed the ship.
This is a typical drone that uses GPS technology. Technology that is supposedly only available through satellites. I've got one like this, and it says it needs 8 satellites to be able to locate where it is and use the GPS function. In the city of Tempe, in a park with all kind of trees all around, buildings, houses, etc., the GPS on my drone has no issues at all finding 8 quote-unquote satellites. But what happens when we go to an open area? That should be even much easier for the drone to find satellites for GPS navigation, correct? Here in the Salton Sea, California, there's absolutely no overhead obstructions, yet the drone will not be able to find any satellites for GPS navigation.
In 2013 I bought my first drone, a DJI Phantom 1. Right now I own 4 modern drones and I use them in my work as a photographer and filmmaker. There are only 2 possible explanations for what you describe. You are lying, or you have been tricked into by a totally useless drone. I don't recognize the drones in the picture, but it looks like a cheap junk drone. I fly drones in places like the Faroe Islands, Iceland, and the Arctic parts of Norway. Often far from cities and antennas. I never have a problem with not being able to receive signals from GPS satellites. This fjord is located in Lofoten in Norway. It's called the Troll Fjord. It is a narrow fjord that is surrounded by mountains of between 850 and 1,200 meters high. There are no antennas or buoys that can send information to my GPS. Despite that, I have no problem navigating using GPS or flying my drones. How do you explain that? If you try to debunk GPS and AIS, then first find out how they are supposed to work. These videos prove just one thing, and it's that you're an idiot who doesn't know what you're talking about. You're an ignorant idiot. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.